The most legitimate tough badass.
Well, the couple names that stick to my head that I heard about when I started was Carl Gotch. And the other one was Billy Robinson. And they were two shooters, old school hookers from Wigan, England.
Mm-hmm.
Wigan, England had a reputation of that's where guys would go to learn how to really hurt you. And Carl Gotch was like an obsessive guy who knew how to hurt you. And Billy Robinson was kind of a crazy guy. If he had a few belts, don't mess with him because he was hurt. But there was an old saying, if you're a biggin, you came from Wigan. But Wigan was the place that really turned out the really super tough shooters that knew how to hurt you. Guys who wouldn't want to piss off in the ring.
Yeah, it's only
There
about.
might have been some other ones. I mean, old guy when I first started from Wigan named John Foley
Yeah.
out in Vancouver, British Columbia. He was kind of an older, smaller guy when I started, but he was still wrestling Vancouver. And I'd do him a favor because he didn't have any money, but I'd take him to the town in my car and wouldn't charge him nothing. And in return, we'd get there a little early, and then I'd get in the ring with him, and he would show me all the Wigan hooks and how to break a wrist, how to pop an elbow, pull a shoulder. And these guys were tough bastards. But Carl Gotch is one of the biggie names that stick out along with Billy's. And there's probably some other ones too that, don't pop in my mind right now.
Were you ever in a territory where they would invite fans into the ring before the shows? Someone would say, oh, well, they're not that tough, I could do this. And then, they get to find out what it's all about.
They would invite fans into the ring?
Yeah, but this is like pre a show. So, there's people like, I think Bob Backlund probably did it, J.R. Foley did it, Bob Roop did it, these types where fans would challenge wrestlers who, wanted to try and get into the business.
Sometimes. I mean, Roop was another one that knew how to hurt you good. And the only thing I remember about like before a show was I popped the guy's knee out. I felt bad, so I never hurt anybody again. But what would happen is you get the local promoter and you'd have some fan that would annoy the hell out of the promoter about wanting to be a wrestler. So the promoter, when he was annoyed enough and said, oh, God, all right, show up at 3:00 and we'll put you in the ring and see what you got. So the fan would say, okay. So they'd show up early. And this happened for years. It was part of the business in the old days where, okay, the fan would show up, he's standing in the ring, and the promoter would send out Carl Gotch and go wrestle this guy a couple minutes, and you know the deal. So the guy would look over and see some guy who really didn't have a bunch of muscles or anything, but he had no idea what a shooter was. So a couple minutes later, the guy's arms broke, and he goes, okay, I give. Oh, God, you guys really are tough. And the promoters liked this because then the guy would go back to his neighborhood with a broken arm and say, yeah, I went in the ring with this guy and I thought he was like an old skinny guy, but he broke my arm. But those guys are for real. So it was like good for business in a way. But that was the thing in the old days where if a fan annoyed a promoter too much, yeah, come here early and get in the ring with this guy. We'll see what you got. Good luck.
Did anyone in your early career try and shoot on you, or at least semi-shoot on you, or control you a bit more than you thought they should?
No, to be honest with you, they really didn't. And I had something that when I was young, I didn't even realize I had. But I had politics on my side. I mean, guys, whether it was Strongbow or Monsoon or somebody or some of the wrestlers, they would go, oh, yeah, that's Bruno's guy. So because I was like Bruno's protege and Bruno's guy, people were nice to me. I mean, guys like Monsoon and other guys who may not even talk to some of the guys, or deal with them, just run the show. But everybody was I think, nicer to me because it was the politics where I was Bruno's guy. And I didn't really realize why some of the older guys were helping me out more, being nice or whatever. I kind of realized it down the road. It was just politics,